This is Rusholoza Cathedral. Today, it is the mother church of the Catholic Diocese of Kabale. Every year, thousands gather here and children are baptized. Young men become priests. Families celebrate weddings. Church bells echo across these hills. But here is the question. Who rang the bell first? Not literally. Who planted the first Catholic community? Who convinced the very first family in Kigezi that the gospel was worth believing? Because churches do not suddenly appear, neither do dioceses. Somebody must first plant the seed, and in Kigezi that seed had a name. Yohana Chitegana. In the year 1858, on Busi Island in Uganda, a boy was born into an ordinary family. Nobody imagined he would become one of the greatest African evangelists in Uganda. As he grew older, Chitegana didn't live like a saint, quite the opposite. He became successful, worked under Chief Madis of Kochi, and accumulated wealth, owned livestock, had influence, and yes, he had 5 wives. If success had an address, Chitegana knew it well, and so here is the irony. The man who would later preach simplicity first experienced abundance. Sometimes God chooses people who least resemble the mission He has prepared for them. Christianity entered Uganda in the year 1879, and at first, Chitegana simply watched. Missionaries preached, chiefs converted, martyrs died. He remained on the sidelines until one day he attended a catechism lesson almost by accident. History says he was deeply moved by the witness of converted Catholic chiefs. That chief was Chief Kabale. Then came the hardest decision of his life. Following Christ meant abandoning polygamy and freeing his slave girl, learning to read and write as an adult. Imagine that, a respected chief sitting with children, learning the alphabet. Humility became his first miracle. When he was baptized at Kisubi in 1896, he received the name Yohana. But more importantly, he received a completely new purpose. Here is something remarkable. The Catholic Church had European missionaries, yet when it wanted to open new territories, it often trusted African catechists first. But why? Because they understood African cultures, languages, and African fears with humor. Bishop Henry Streicher saw something extraordinary in Yohana Chitegana. Not education, not wealth, not power, not character, and he first sent him to Bunyoro Kingdom. Then to Bunyaruguru, where Chitegana did something unusual. He didn't merely preach, he healed. He treated sick people using local herbs together with the practical medical knowledge available to him. He cultivated his own food, lived simply, and attracted many young people through his service. People came looking for medicine and stayed to hear the gospel. That was his method: compassion before conversation and service before sermons. By 1910, there remained one region few missionaries had reached, and that is Kigezi, the remote mountainous that had no mission station, no parish at all, no resident priest at all, unrewinding footpath and scattered communities. So Bishop Streicher asked one question: who will go? Yohana Chitegana had to answer, I will. He traveled first in Nyarushanje, joining Yohana Sebalija, another pioneering catechist. Soon he began moving from village to village, preaching, teaching, and gathering believers. Imagine those journeys: no vehicle, no bridges, no hotels, only a walking stick, a sleeping mat, a drinking gourd, a rosary, and faith. He had given away his possessions before setting out, choosing a life of evangelical poverty. Many imagined missionaries arrived carrying bricks. Chitegana carried relationships, visited homes, sat with elders, prayed with children, treated the sick, prayed with families, and people in Kigezi affectionately nicknamed him Moleju because of his long beard. Imagine the scene: children peeping from behind banana plantations. There comes Moleju. Some touched his beard, some laughed. He laughed too. Then he taught them the sign of the cross. Great evangelization often begins with ordinary human moments. Not every conversation, not every conversion starts with a sermon. Sometimes it starts with kindness. This is perhaps the greatest surprise in the story. When the first white fathers officially opened Rushoroza mission in 1923, they didn't arrive in an empty land. They found Christian communities, catechists, thousands of catechumens, and a small church already built by Chitegana. The seed had already become a young tree. Chitegana's dream had come true, and this missionary, who had walked alone, finally saw priests alive. He reportedly became one of the happiest people in Kigezi because the work he had begun would now continue for generations. Rushoroza became the first Catholic mission in Kigezi. Later came schools, hospitals, seminaries, new parishes. Then in 1966, Kabale Diocese was elected with Rushoroza as its cathedral parish. Every bishop who has sat on the cathedral, every priest ordained, and every religious sister professed, every child baptized stands in some small way on the foundation first prepared by Yohana Chitegana. He never wore a bishop's mitre. He never led a diocese. He just simply prepared the ground. When we celebrate 60 years of the Catholic Diocese of Kabale, we celebrate more than an institution. We celebrate a journey that did not begin with the election of a diocese in 1966, nor with the opening of Rushoroza mission in 1923. It began years earlier, when one African catechist left behind comfort, wealth, and status and walked into the unknown carrying only faith. History remembers cathedrals because they touch the sky, but God also remembers footprints because they touched the earth first. And among the first footprints of the Catholic Church in Kigezi were those of Yohana Chitegana, the man who did not build the diocese but made it possible. As the diocese celebrates 60 years of God's faithfulness, it also pauses to honor one of its earliest pioneers. In Kabale town stands Chitegana House, a building named in memory of Yohana Chitegana. Today, it serves as the home of Centenary Bank's regional branch for Kigezi. It is more than a landmark of brick and concrete. It is a public reminder that the church has not forgotten the man whose footsteps first carried the gospel into these hills. There is a beautiful symbolism in that. The man who once carried little more than a walking stick is remembered by a building that serves thousands of people every day. And his greatest monument, however, is not made of cement or stone. It is found in every child baptized in Kigezi, in every family gathered around the altar, and in every priest ordained, in every religious sister who serves the poor, and in every church bell that rings across these mountains. If you listen carefully beyond the choir, beyond the bells, beyond the voices leaving Sunday Mass, perhaps you can still hear another sound, the quiet footsteps of one humble catechist walking from village to village, trusting that one day these hills would belong to Christ. History remembers the builders of great cathedrals. Faith also remembers the man who first showed the builders where to begin. That man was Yohana, and because he walked in faith, generations have followed. As Kabale Diocese celebrates 60 years, his story reminds us that God's greatest work often begins with one ordinary person willing to take the first step.